Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a review and demo on the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I've been using this since the beginning of January. We're now in March or mid-January, something like that. I have definitely been wearing this for like 5 to nearly 6 weeks. And I wanted to wear it really well so I could try it in different ways to give you guys a good, honest and informative review. Like always, I start these videos with a bare face, or for the most part I always start with a bare face because I want you guys to see the current imperfections I have on my skin. I have still a breakout right over here which is kind of like disappearing, but it's lasting a good 3 to 4 weeks. It was a bump, it never turned into a pimple, it's still there. My skin is pretty good at the moment. I had a few breakouts in the past month because my body's kind of like run down. I have combination to oily skin if you're new to my channel, so I'm just going to give you those details. I have combination to oily skin in the winter and oily in the summer. I have enlarged pores here and on my nose, fine lines, and I'm also an NC30 by MAC in the winter. Now the shade that I have here is shade 6, and shade 6 is a little bit dark for me, is about a shade too dark. So I've been actually using this foundation with the Body Shop lightning drops, but I'm not going to use this product in this video because I want to do a separate review on that, and I want you guys to just concentrate on this bad boy over here. Now this is a very expensive foundation, so I wanted to wear it for a very long time to really make sure that I can provide a good review with good information and details about this foundation. I've been applying it with a beauty sponge by Real Techniques, but I recently thrown that one away because it was too old. But I also apply it with the Real Techniques buffing brush. At the moment it's dirty, so I'm going to use the Sigma F80, which is the flat top kabuki brush, because I find that it applies really well with brushes as well. So I'm going to give this foundation a little bit of a shake, and I've already moisturized and primed my face, and the primer that I use of course is the Nivea Post Shave Balm. If you haven't seen my review, it will be linked below. So I'm going to shake this. It definitely tells you on the box, which I'll show you guys in a little while if I still have the box, that you need to shake it. It comes with a pump, as you guys can see, and I'm going to apply only one little pump. It's a quite liquidy foundation. As you can see, it's running down my hand. It does have a paint type of scent, so you need to keep that in mind. It doesn't have a perfumey scent, which I was really surprised when I bought this foundation, because most of my higher end foundations have a perfume scent. So I was really surprised that this one doesn't have it. So I'm going to start by blending the foundation on the right side of my face. I hope you guys don't mind that I changed the location again to do this video, but I wanted to use natural light. So I have a huge window here on my right side because I'm struggling with light like always. It's winter here in the UK. Ooh, I went over my eyebrows with my brush. So this foundation is super easy to blend, and I like coming down my eyes applying the foundation also on my eyes underneath, because it actually covers them, really covers the dark circles very well. So here is the first layer finished. As you can see, it has definitely evened out my skin tone. My imperfections are not that visible, but with the first layer I feel like you get a medium coverage, but more on the lighter side of medium. It's not too heavy, caked up or anything like that. This foundation, you can definitely build it up, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply another layer of this foundation. Just one pump will be more than enough because this foundation layers so nicely on the skin. And if you feel like you want to just use one layer, that's perfectly fine, and that's what I usually use on my day-to-day basis. But the first week that I applied this foundation, that I was trying it out, I did use a couple of layers, and I felt like a couple of layers is better for me if I'm going out for a dinner, a date or something like that. I don't think it's something that I would like to use for everyday wear, but the foundation layers super nice with the second layer. So I'm done with the second layer of the foundation. As you can see now, my skin is definitely very well covered. I feel that even my dark circles are nearly gone. So when I have to apply my concealer, I don't have to layer too much or kick on too much concealer. When you look at also the finish, because this is very important because the foundation says it's called Luminous Foundation, it does give you a luminous finish, but it's not dewy. So if you are hoping this foundation is going to be very dewy, it doesn't have that type of finish. And once it sets, it just gives you kind of like a nice, very subtle luminosity to the skin, but it's not a dewy or kind of like oily finish at all. I'll try and give you guys a close-up so you can see how it sits on my skin with nothing else before I start layering products, so you can kind of like understand what I'm trying to say. It does give a little bit of a luminosity, but it's not a oily or super dewy look or anything like that. So what I'm going to do now is finish the rest of my makeup and come back with the rest of my review. Okay, so I'm back with the rest of my makeup on, and I kept it real simple. I only have a light coverage concealer, blush, bronzer, and a nude lipstick. But if you're interested in the products that I use, I'll put everything in the info bar below so you guys can check it out. Now I'm going to tell you the details of the foundation, where you can buy, which websites, which counters or stores, how much it costs, how I matched myself to the shade that I have. But first I'm going to start with the outer packaging. The foundation comes in this black box, which is kind of like a little bit shiny. As you can see, it has white letters. It says at the top, Luminous Silk Foundation in English and in French, with the shade beneath those words. And then at the bottom it has the Giorgio Armani logo. It also says Giorgio Armani. It tells you how much product it carries, which is 30 ml, which is 1 fluid ounce. If you turn it around, it says Luminous Silk Foundation in different languages. At the back, it has all the ingredients that the foundation has, and that's pretty much it when it comes to the box. It also tells you Luminous Silk Foundation right at the top with the shade as well. Now, when it comes to the packaging of the foundation itself, which is this, I find it very, very pretty. It's a kind of like frosted glass. You can still see the foundation and the shade. It comes with a lid and a pump, which is definitely always a plus for me, because if you're splurging on a very expensive product, you want it to have a pump because it's so much more hygienic, it's better, and you can control the amount of product that you dispense. And this pump is really good because if you just want to dispense half a pump, you can do that. It's very, very controllable. It's very pretty. It has on the lid the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk logo, and at the bottom it also tells you the shade of the foundation, so when you throw your box away, you can always remember. If you have a lot of foundation, sometimes you end up forgetting which shade you have, but this one has it at the bottom. So you can buy this foundation on 5 different websites here in the UK. You can buy it at John Lewis, Debenhams. I have my computer here with all those details. House of Fraser, Selfridges, and feelunique.com. Now, feelunique.com is just a website. I believe they do ship abroad, so you don't have a counter to go and match yourself. Selfridges, more than likely you have a Giorgio Armani counter on there, but don't quote me because I haven't been there in a very long time. But because it's a very, very large department store, more than likely they have a Giorgio Armani counter in there. Now, I bought my foundation at John Lewis and I ordered it online, and how I matched myself to this shade was I did an extensive research on this foundation for several months before I decided to go ahead and purchase it. And I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and most of the girls that have similar skin tone to mine, they have this in shade 5.75. But unfortunately here in the UK, as I mentioned before, they don't sell that shade. So I decided to go to shade 6 because I knew shade 5.5 would be way too light for me, and I don't want to look grayish or anything like that. This one will probably suit me a lot better in the winter months. So I have it on right now, of course, and it's, I don't know, in the camera it doesn't show like it's dark, But after a few hours, I find that this foundation oxidizes, so it looks a little bit dark for me, but I can still make it work. Actually, at work, they were saying that I look a lot tanner, which is really good because when it's winter, your skin looks very pale and dull. So having a shade that is just maybe half a shade darker or something like that, it's not all that bad. But as I mentioned also in the beginning, I have been mixing these two products together, one drop of this to make this foundation shade match me perfectly. Here in the UK, this foundation comes only in 21 shades. When I say only, it's because I know that in the Sephora website, they have 23. So there's 2 shades missing in the line here in the UK. It retails for £37, so it's a very expensive foundation. And I know that in the States, it retails for $62, which is like nearly double the price. If it was £62 over here, I would never ever buy this foundation. I'm going to tell you guys right off the back. 37, it's already pushing the limit because it's very expensive, but I do think it's worth the money. Let me just say that. I have been using it for over 5 weeks, and I do think that this foundation is well worth the £37. I'm not too sure about the 62. So get yourself matched, get a sample, make sure that you like the foundation before you splurge and pay so much money. So I'm going to read a little bit of the description on the website. It says, Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation has been developed with exclusive microfill technology for a weightless, silky texture. The oil-free fluid glides on seamlessly, offering hydration, all-day coverage that can be layered for a personalized finish. Okay, so it's very, very light on the skin. This foundation is not heavy at all, so it's very comfortable to wear. It definitely provides a silky type of finish because it glides on the skin. It doesn't drag, it just melts into my skin very, very nicely. It's great that it's oil free, so any skin type can use this foundation. But if you have very, very oily skin, just wear a oil control lotion, oil control primer, and then set your foundation with just a little bit of powder, because I feel that if you use 2 products before the foundation that are oil controlling, then I don't think you need to put too much powder on your face, or else you're going to lose the finish that this foundation gives you. I find myself having to blot this foundation around the 5th to 6th hour because I start getting a little bit shiny, but the foundation is still there. Once I blot a little bit, the foundation is still there. I don't feel like I need to apply powder. By the 8th hour, I have to blot again, obviously, because I do have combination to oily skin. Sometimes, depending on the temperatures, I will apply a light dusting of powder, but for the most part, I don't. I do feel that this foundation stays on the skin really nicely. When it comes to full wear time for the entire day, I do feel that this foundation lasts anything between 10 hours to 11 hours. Obviously, it is fading slightly. It's not a super long wearing foundation like the Estee Lauder Double Wear or the Revlon Color Stay. And it doesn't claim to be all that long wearing. It doesn't tell you the hours of the day. The hours, when they say an all day wear, it could be in the 7 hours, it could be in 8 hours. It depends how long you're outside. It doesn't tell you 12 hours, 14 hours, 24 hours. So it does last pretty well for about 10 to 11 hours. My blush, if I do contour or I have bronzer, it's still there by the time I get home. And bear in mind, I apply my foundation around 6:30 in the morning, and I come home around 5:30 to 6 o'clock in the evening. So that's nearly 12 hours of wear. Sometimes I don't remove my makeup straight away, and the foundation is still there when I have to remove it. I can see that on my wipes that I'm using to remove my makeup. So when it comes to wear time, I do think that this foundation is quite long wearing. This foundation has no SPF, so it's perfect for flash photography. I will insert a picture of myself taking a picture with a flash and without flash, so you guys can see there's no white cast. It just looks very, very beautiful. I love taking selfies with this foundation because I feel like my skin looks very flawless. It blurs out imperfections and it looks really, really nice. Now, the only downside of this foundation, and I need to say this before I end this video, is if you have textured skin, meaning like bumps and uneven skin texture, this foundation will cling to those slightly. and make them a little bit more obvious. I do find that it sinks a little bit also into my pores slightly. So although I don't wear a primer at the moment, I'm using the Nivea Post Shave Balm. I do find that it fills in my pores so the foundation doesn't totally sink into those. But I have tried it with other primers and I found that the foundation was making my pores a little bit more visible. So if you do have textured skin, just keep that in mind, that the foundation may need a better, more smoothing primer so it can glide on a lot better and stay on the skin a lot prettier throughout the day. So overall, I do really love this foundation. I will continue to wear it because I've been enjoying it so much. I think it's my second favorite at the moment. My favorite one is by Bobbi Brown. It's the Skin Stick Foundation, which has SPF, but it takes beautiful pictures as well. I will link my review below. I've done a review over a year ago. These two are definitely my favorite. It's very expensive, but I do think it's well worth the 37 pounds, especially if you find your perfect match. It will just make you look very pretty. I do really like the finish of this foundation, even though I have oilier skin or combination to oily. So that is my review on the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I do hope that you guys found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have it, if you're thinking about trying it, or if you have any recommendations for me to try in the future. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.